about the Philippine Patient Bill of Rights. Watch it.
First, right to appropriate medical care and humane treatment. Every person has a right to health and medical care corresponding to his state of health, without any discrimination and within the limits of the resources, manpower, and competence available for health and medical care at the relevant time. Second, right to informed consent. The patient has a right to a clear, truthful, and substantial explanation, in a manner and language understandable to the patient, of all proposed procedures, whether diagnostic, preventive, curative, rehabilitative, or therapeutic, wherein a person who will perform the said procedure shall provide his name and credentials to the patient, possibilities of any risk of mortality or serious side effects, problems related to recuperation, and probability of success and reasonable risk involved. Third, right to privacy and confidentiality. The privacy of the patients must be assured at all stages of his treatment. The patient has the right to demand that all information, communication, and records pertaining to his care to be treated as confidential. Fourth, right to information. In the course of his or her treatment and hospital care, the patient or his or her legal guardian has a right to be informed of the result of the evaluation of the nature and extent of his or her disease, any other additional or further contemplated medical treatment and surgical procedure or procedures, including any other additional medicines to be administered and their generic counterpart, including the possible complications and other pertinent facts. Fifth, the right to choose healthcare provider and facility. The patient is free to choose the healthcare provider to serve him as well as the facility, except when he is under the care of a service facility, or when public health and safety or demands, or when the patient expressly waives this right in writing. 6. Right to self-determination. The patient has the right to avail himself or herself of any recommended diagnostic and treatment procedures. 7. Right to religious belief. The patient has the right to refuse medical treatment or procedures which may be contrary to his religious beliefs, subject to the limitations described in the preceding subsection. 8. Right to medical records. The patient is entitled to a summary of his medical history and condition. He has the right to view the contents of his medical records. 9. Right to leave. The patient has the right to leave hospital or any other healthcare institution regardless of his physical condition. No patient shall be detained against his or her will in any healthcare institution on the sole basis of his failure to fully settle his financial obligations. 10. Right to refuse participation in medical research. The patient has the right to be advised if the healthcare provider plans to involve him in a medical research, including but not limited to human experimentation, which may be informed only with the written informed consent of the patient. 11. Right to correspondence and to receive visitors. The patient has the right to communicate with relatives and other persons and to receive visitors subject to reasonable limits prescribed by the rules and regulations of the healthcare institutions. 12. Right to express grievances. The patient has the right to express complaints and grievances about the care and service received without fear of discrimination. And the last, right to be informed of his rights and obligations as a patient. Every person has the right to be informed of his rights and obligations as a patient. It shall be the duty of healthcare institutions to inform of their rights.
I hope you understand about the Philippine Patient Bill of Rights. Thank you, and mabuhay Philippines!